Welcome to You Should Know, a series about the things you should have been taught in high school, but weren't. In each episode, we'll dive into a topic that's important to understand and easy to implement into your life. We'll talk to experts, break down complex ideas, and give you the information that you need to make informed decisions. So whether you're looking to learn something new or just want to stay up to date on the latest news, You Should Know is the place for you. So give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and let's get started. All right, we're going to get started. I'm Danae Hicks with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. I work for Ellis County as your family community health agent. We have a really cool guest coming on today, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, depending on when you're listening. My name is Odessa Keenan, and I am with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. I'm a program specialist within the Department of Nutrition, and I run a healthy cooking, healthy eating program called Dinner Tonight, where we really focus on providing accessible, easy, and healthy recipes for Texans.
Perfect. So we're going to kick this off because we just broke out to 2024 and we're all trying to keep our resolutions if we made them. Can you share with us a little bit about why healthy eating is important as we kind of transition from the first to the second month and maybe start falling off those resolutions a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, healthy eating is important no matter the time of year, right? We all know that. And January is that really common month for people to start a self-improvement journey, which is fantastic. But with the season changing or the year changing and everything like that, everyone wants to do some sort of self-improvement, which I love. But just know that you can start a self-improvement journey or pick one back up any time of the year. So don't think if you miss January, then you have to wait until 2025. You can start anytime. And if you were really good the first couple of weeks of January and you fell off the last couple of weeks, start again in February. But I do want to note that as far as time of year goes, when we're in this cold weather, and there's a lot of viruses going around, the colds, flu, RSV, hand, foot, and mouth. It's really important to make sure that your immune system is in tip-top shape. And one of the ways you can do that is by making sure that you're eating a healthy, balanced diet full of antioxidants, full of fiber, full of protein, full of healthy carbohydrates, all those things that are going to give you good energy and boost your immune system.
Thanks. So one thing, and I didn't prep you for this question, so if we need to cut it, we can. Can you explain just basic layman terms what an antioxidant is? Because there are lots of people that don't know, and I didn't know until I went to conference last year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in pretty simple terms, antioxidants are compounds in fruits and vegetables that help fight what are called free radicals in your body. And free radicals can come from a lot of things. They can come from your environment, they can come from things you're eating, things you're drinking, they can come from the air that you're breathing. And so, really, our bodies encounter free radicals everywhere we go. And so eating antioxidants helps combat those free radicals in your body. So all really anyone needs to know is they're really healthy compounds, and the way they present themselves in food is through color. And so I always love telling people to eat colorfully, because then you're getting antioxidants into your diet, and try mixing it up. So if you only ever eat green foods, try some red foods, try some purple foods, and vice versa. If you're only ever eating yellow foods, try some green foods, and keep stirring your diet up that way. And it's an easy way to remember to get a bunch of different types of antioxidants in your body.
So it's like eating the rainbow.
Eat the rainbow,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So can you share with us a little bit why people might struggle to maintain resolutions as the years progress?
Sure. I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons why people struggle to maintain new resolutions and these goals. And I think part of the reason is because people set unrealistic goals, right? So, don't tackle a mountain, tackle some small hills. So don't go super unrealistic with your goals. Um, Find some goals that are going to be really practical for your lifestyle, and then don't try and make too many changes all at once. I know it can be tempting to say like, okay, in the new year I'm going to be a whole new person, I'm going to be perfectly organized, I'm going to be on top of my budget, I'm going to be on top of my diet and my workouts. In reality, the habits that you have right now you have for a reason, right? Whether it's money, time, maybe inexperience in the kitchen, things like that. So identify what your challenges are and then make realistic, practical, small changes to take steps to get towards where you want to be. And I think that goes a long way in creating a new lifestyle instead of just kind of setting these goals that you either hit or don't hit. You want to try and improve your lifestyle.
Yeah. I've read a lot about New Year's resolutions. We kind of focused on it in my July or my January newsletter.
Okay.
And it was kind of a fine balance between setting a realistic goal and setting an attainable goal
Mm-hmm.
while like setting one that you're like happy doing, right? Because
Yeah.
somebody wants to lose weight, but then you have to be like, well, ideally, I would like to lose 40 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
but that may not be super like attainable starting
Mm-hmm.
out. So maybe we start with like 5 and then we work up from there or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, if you set these smaller milestones, then it's going to keep you motivated. It makes you want to stick to them. So maybe your goal eventually is that 40-pound weight loss. But if you can achieve 5 pounds at a time, it's going to keep you motivated to get really where you want to be. So it is a fine line, like you said, between um, choosing a goal that you're excited for and you're going to be happy about, but also choosing something that's attainable and realistic.
Yeah. So you've talked a little bit about some advice for people if they're looking to make changes. Especially we just talked about like with weight loss, making sure that it's an attainable goal, one that you don't get kind of like bummed out on because you're not going to safely lose 40 pounds in a month, something like that. Do you have any other advice for somebody that's looking to make changes for their diet, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say one of the biggest things, if you want to do just a gradual lifestyle change, is just try adding in the good things. So adding in the things that you know that you should maybe. So if that's extra fruit, extra vegetables, more protein, try just adding that in instead of like taking away the quote unquote bad things. And so just add in the good and the bad, or the habits that you want to change related to food will kind of fall away. So making sure that you're, like I said, getting the good protein in, getting the healthy carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables. If you eat a well-balanced diet like that, making sure you're getting in the good, you won't necessarily have to worry so much about the, like I said, quote unquote bad things. And then my second tip would be really if you're trying to make a change to your diet, is to get familiar with meal planning. Meal planning is such an amazing tool when we talk about making changes, because a lot of times, like I said earlier, you eat the way you do for reasons. Like I said, whether it's maybe you're very busy, maybe you've got kids and you're going in every which direction. And so you need to sit down and really make a plan for those busy nights and make a plan for the week and be realistic and say, okay, these are nights when we can make it home and eat a home cooked meal versus these are nights when we have to be on the road and we have to stop somewhere and get fast food. Well, maybe you can plan on bringing healthy snacks with you to eat before you end up at the drive-through, so that you're controlling your portions when you get there. So making a plan and really examining your schedule and saying, where can I fit in the good things is my biggest tip. And we have lots of resources on our Dinner Tonight website. Our website is dinnertonight.tamu.edu. But we have resources on meal planning, tips on shopping at the grocery store, tips on planning out your week. And then we also have a lot of recipes that you can pick and choose depending on what utensils you've got at your disposal. Like slow cookers can be a great tool if you're really busy. You can make healthy recipes in the slow cooker. You can make healthy recipes in your Instant Pot, in your air fryer. And we have a ton of recipes on there to help anyone who's struggling with finding healthy meals.
That's such a great resource to be able just to utilize. And I use it a lot as an agent, but all of my Master Wellness volunteers know about it. All of my newsletters have at least one of y'all's recipes on it just to kind of like reinforce that you still can have good food that tastes good and it can still be healthy.
That's wonderful to hear. And that's really one of our goals is when people think of healthy food, they think of boring food. And we want to kind of change that around. Your food does not have to be boring to be healthy.
Yes, so that leads us really into our next question really well. A lot of people do associate healthy eating with like bland food or oh, I'm only going to be able to eat brown rice and chicken. Like there's not going to be any seasoning or anything. How can people incorporate things into their meals to make their foods still stay healthy but also have flavor?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, most people, when they think of healthy food, they think of the classic like boiled chicken, broccoli, and plain rice. And
Yeah.
that's fine if that's your taste, but I like a little bit more interest in my food. And so you can make a lot of your favorite recipes a little bit healthier just by doing some simple things, looking at any added sugars that you're adding to your recipes, added sodiums that you're adding to your recipes, and then saturated fats. So these might be very simple changes like switching from cooking in butter to cooking in olive oil. That's a great way to reduce saturated fats. If you're looking at your baking recipes, try reducing how much sugar you put in those baked goods by just a little bit. So even if you're looking at half a cup of sugar, maybe knock it down to a third a cup, and I bet you won't know the difference. And then, of course, being careful about adding sodium into your foods. Salt obviously brings a lot of flavor to foods, but there's so many great herbs and spices and citruses out in the world that bring really complex flavor profiles to your food, which is what I think people are missing when they start just adding in tons and tons of salt. They're really looking for a deeper flavor profile. So get comfortable adding in spices into your seasoning, experiment with them. There's tons of great low sodium spice mix recipes online, and we have some on Dinner Tonight as well. Get that deeper flavor profile, and I bet you see yourself reaching for that salt less and less and less.
Yeah, for sure. What I know you talked about Dinner Tonight having some recipes. What about like Pinterest, or are there any other resources that you can recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously on Dinner Tonight, one of the nice things about our website is that we provide a nutrition label. The recipes have all been analyzed on a research-based nutritional analysis software. And so you can see exactly what you're going to be getting from your servings on our recipes on Dinner Tonight. So that's always really nice, especially if you are looking to make these changes, if you're keeping just a closer eye on things like your sodium levels, your saturated fats, your added sugars. It's right there for you. So of course that is wonderful. And it's something you can count on with our recipes. You can also look at the USDA's website. They have a lot of great recipes. My Plate has a ton of wonderful recipes that are very healthy. But you can, of course, search Pinterest. And just when you're looking at those recipes, you're going to have to use kind of your common sense and know that if a recipe calls for a stick of butter, that you're going to be getting those saturated fats. And is that something that is going to fit within your goals for the day, the week, the year? So you just kind of really have to use your common sense when you look at recipes and see what ingredients they're asking for and including.
Yeah, for sure. And it can be confusing.
It absolutely can be confusing. There are I mean, recipes on the internet is a huge, I don't want to call it an industry, but there are so many on there. And so finding a reliable resource that you can count on to not only provide you with healthy recipes, but also recipes that are tested so that you know how they're going to come out. I know you've probably seen like the Pinterest fails,
Oh, yeah.
where someone attempts even a craft or a recipe and it just does not come out anything like the author has said. And that's because a lot of time it's independent bloggers who aren't necessarily accountable to anyone. And so they're putting these things out on the internet, maybe not even tested. Um, and then if tested, maybe not even represented perfectly. And so finding a reliable resource, whether it's us at dinner tonight, whether it's the USDA or My Plate, but just finding a reliable source that you can count on so that when you know you cook the recipe, it's going to come out like you expect it to. And that goes a long way towards reducing food waste and saving you money too, because if you make a recipe that no one wants to eat, then you're wasting food and you're wasting dollars out of your budget that month. And we don't want to see that happen either.
I will say we've had a few nights where I have found something on Pinterest that I have been like, this is going to be delicious. It looks great. And then we make it, and it's real close to one of those Pinterest fails that you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier.
Yes, and I have definitely experienced that too. And I always think to myself, I need to go back to my old faithfuls.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we've done in our house is we have like a notebook, a 3-ring binder, literally with page protectors in it of healthy, quick recipes that like whenever we try something new, I just kind of look at my husband and he looks at me and I'm like, so does it go in the book? And
Yeah.
he's kind of the deciding factor on whether it goes
Yeah.
in the book or not. And we've kind of just accumulated these over the last few years of being married. And it's been really nice to have those like old faithfuls to fall back onto if we get into a slump and we're like, I haven't made dinner in a while. Maybe I should, to just be able to bust those out.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that goes back to what I said about meal planning, getting old faithful recipes that you and your family have loved and saving them and then going back to them when needed. Um, so many recipes now that I consider those old faithfuls and recipes I can count on. I have them memorized. And so I know if I need to cook dinner really quickly, I think about which recipe and I can just stop by the grocery store, grab all the ingredients because I've got them memorized. And so that's really handy once you get in a good routine of meal planning consistently. Stuff like that happens where now you've got it memorized and you know exactly what you need at the grocery store. And you can pick it up and make a quick, healthy dinner for your family that night.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, what role does a person's community or support system, or even just their family, have in helping them maintain healthy eating habits?
Yeah, support systems are critical when you're making changes of any kind, whether it be eating, exercising, financial changes, anything like that. A good support system can be really helpful, and a bad support system can be detrimental. So first, I would try and identify who you've kind of got in your corner from your family or your community that you've got surrounding you, whether that, like I said, be family or friends. So who do you have in your corner? Who's going to be supportive? Who is maybe someone you can take this journey with, even? And then on the same note, identify maybe who's not going to be quite as supportive. Once you are able to anticipate this, you can better prepare for how you're going to interact with each person. Um, so, if you bring a healthy new recipe to the family cookout, you're probably going to get some pushback from some family members. Oh, why are you cooking healthy? You don't need to lose weight. Um, that's going to be gross because it's healthy, blah, blah, blah. And so, anticipating who it's going to come from, maybe even what they're going to say, it's going to help kind of prepare you for your responses, and then it'll help you stay strong in your commitment to your goals. So leaning on people who you know are going to be supportive, and then anticipating people who are not going to be quite as supportive can be very helpful. And then the other thing that I would say is be a good support system for other people. So support people how in their goals, how you want to be supported. And then you might even find some people in your community who have the same goals as you, and then you can be a good support system for each other. So be the support system that you want to have.
Like the golden rule of resolution.
Yes, exactly.
I love the kind of just having an accountability partner.
Mhm.
My husband, love him to death, sometimes is not a great accountability partner because he will swing by Sonic and pick up a Coke. Or
Yep.
he'll be like, guess what I had for lunch? Because he
Mhm.
works at John Deere and they go out all the time. And I'm like, that's cool. I took leftover wraps. Like,
Yeah.
so I have a really good friend that lives in Illinois, and she's my accountability partner, and we check in with each other. And that definitely helps me have one, a more positive relationship with food, but two, just kind of helps me stay on track.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Finding an accountability buddy
Yeah.
is wonderful. And I love that you mentioned that your accountable friend is so far away, because often we look to who's right in front of us to say, okay, I'm maybe looking for a support system in them, but you can kind of think outside the box, and you don't have to necessarily be sitting across the dinner table every night to be your accountability buddy. So I love that you and your friend have got the same goals and have connected over that, and are keeping each other accountable. And two, I bet you guys share recipes maybe when you find a new healthy
We do.
recipe or new tips or tricks for your busy lifestyle. That's always helpful too.
Oh yeah. And I mean, two eyes on the internet looking for good recipes and trying them out is a lot easier on the budget and a lot
Yeah,
easier on the time frame than me having to do
absolutely.
it all by myself, which is great.
Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap things up, but what I want to know from you for our last question is what take-home messages do you hope that hit home with our viewers from this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things is knowing that making these types of lifestyle changes can take time. You're not going to magically wake up tomorrow and become a long distance runner or a budgeting expert or a perfect chef. But you can make small, consistent changes that will ultimately make a difference in your long term health and quality of life. So, my advice is don't give up. If you don't follow your meal plan one week, don't give up. Just try again.
Yeah, for sure. And with meal planning, especially if you're used to consistently like working out or grabbing something on the way home or whatever, sometimes it's easier just to start with like 1 or 2 days
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that we're not just jumping in with both feet. Like, I'm gonna meal plan 5 days a week because if I had to meal plan 5 days a week, I would lose my brain. So we
Yeah,
have a lot of
absolutely.
things to like repurpose, like chicken or taco meat or something. So I have the meat, but we can repurpose it to other things where I'm not having to make a protein every single night.
Absolutely. And, you don't have to follow anyone else's rules but yours. So do a meal plan for 2 days at a time, 3 days at a time, a month at a time if you want. Yeah, just try it out. Just see how it works for you, make adjustments, make up new rules for you and your family, and it'll eventually you'll get the hang of it, and it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, it's a learning curve like anything else.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. And don't forget, our website is dinnertonight.tamu.edu. We have hundreds of recipes on there, along with tips for, busy weeknights, busy mornings, meal planning, shopping at the grocery store, food safety. And you can also find us on social media. So we do have a Facebook page, we have Instagram, we do have a Pinterest, so you can go and search our recipes on Pinterest and save them yourself. And we do have a YouTube channel where we show you how to make some of our recipes, so you can see exactly what utensils you're going to need, exactly how complicated it is, and then get visual directions on how to make your recipes.
That's perfect. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And you
Well,
can
thanks
search us
again.
dinner tonight on anything.
Awesome. Thanks again for joining us, and we are so glad that you shared with us.
Yes, thank you again.
This has been You Should Know. Don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and a comment about what you learned today. We're so glad you stopped by. And as always, if you'd like to reach out to us, email us at youshouldknowwithdanae@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.